Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Talking of Minds podcast. In this episode, we'll be talking about a cognitive bias which can have a lasting impact on our daily life, events, our decisions, and even the career or life choices of many people. So it is about the halo effect. So what we mean by halo, halo is the light, the circular light, most of the times in a yellow color that we see in the photos of deities, sometimes in movies to show godly figures and superhuman characters. So that's what a halo is. Halo is used to denote some kind of a superhuman nature to some person or something. And the halo effect is a tendency of our brain for positive impressions of a person, company, brand, etc., in one particular area to positively influence our opinion of that person, company, or brand, or whatever in the other areas also where we don't have any clue or evidence to verify whether they are good or bad. So we form a positive impression of a particular side of a person or a brand, and then we assume automatically that the person or a brand is good in all other aspects too, without checking for evidence for this, the other aspects. So it's kind of a generalization without much evidence, and it is almost always done as an automatic process by our brain. Now, take for example when we see a very well groomed person, and sometimes we, refer to him or her as he or she is having a good personality. So, personality is a very, a vast concept which has a lot of components to it. But we just see a person, and at the face value, he or she looks well kept or groomed, and we just assume that that is an indication of a personality or good personality, and we will have a very good opinion of him or her, and we may assume that that person is trustworthy, that person is timely, that person has so and so qualities, and none of these assumptions will be having any base of evidence or objectivity. There is also something called a reverse halo effect, when someone with a positive impression and someone who forms a positive impression will have negative consequences because of jealousy, so because of the jealousy felt by other people because of this positive impressions. And there is something called horn effect, HORN, horn effect, which is the exact opposite of halo effect, where anyone who is not considered attractive might be also deemed morally bankrupt or evil or intellectually inferior or incapable of doing things. So this is the exact opposite of halo effect. But halo effect is the one which has been researched a lot, and there is a lot of evidence that we have of the existence of this so-called halo effect. The term halo effect was coined by Edward Thorndike, who was a very well-known psychologist of his times in the 1920s. And this came about from his research among military officers, the way they treated or evaluated their subordinates. That's where he came up with this, concept of halo effect, even though the concept of halo effect was always there, but the term was coined by Thorndike. Then Solomon Ash did some of his work in connection to the halo effect, and even in this decade, we even in the current times, there are research works that are going on regarding halo effect. Now, if we try to see where halo effect has its impacts or its influence, we can see that halo effect is there in almost all things that we do, where we have to evaluate or where we have to give evaluation of something, a person or a brand or a thing, or even companies. Wherever we do such things, the halo effect can have an impact. So The well-known proverb of the first impression being the best impression is a reflection of halo effect, where we form a first impression of a person or something based on what we have at face value. Maybe it's a visual appeal, or maybe because of the feedback given by someone else, or whatever way we get initial information about something, and we generalize this initial information as a very good overall evaluation of whatever that is. Again, we have the proverb of love at first sight. Even that can most of the times be a halo effect, where you find one particular aspect of a person attractive, and most of the times it is something that is visual, but that we see, and then we apply that positive impact to every other aspect of that person without knowing anything much. The same phenomenon is seen in celebrity endorsements, where celebrities, sportspersons, movie stars, or any kind of a celebrity endorses something. The impression or the admiration that we have for the celebrity is automatically transferred to whatever they are endorsing. And also sometimes when people who are experts or well known in some particular area talks about topics or things which are outside of their area of expertise, but people usually take all these opinions at the same face value. For example, when a movie star who is quite capable and famous in his or her area talks about something like science or medicines, and promotes something that is pseudoscientific or quackery, many people tend to follow, or many people tend to give face value to this opinion, because this person is a celebrity and they have much admiration for this person, and we don't usually think twice about whether this person is capable, or whether this person is authorized enough to give opinions on other areas. But our brain just has this tendency to apply value to whatever this person says, because we already admire that person very much. This halo effect can have very much of an impact in classrooms and in academic spaces. In research conducted in 1974, it was seen that teachers assigned higher grades to essay written by students who had a common, popular, or some kind of an attractive first names, regardless of the quality of the essay that they had written. Children with common names or popular names were tended to be given higher grades than other children. It has also been found that men are more prone to the halo effect, especially on online spaces and internet dating sites. In some research conducted in internet dating site, it was seen that men are more prone to, evaluate women favorably when there was an attractive picture of that woman displayed, and even if there was a chance that this is not likely to be the original picture of that person, even with that kind of a knowledge, men tended to give more positive evaluations of the whole person by seeing an attractive pictures. Recently, there has been other findings that our mood can affect how much a halo effect has an influence on us, which is to say that if you are in a better mood, if you are in a good mood, the chances are that the chances of you being prey to, or you falling for the halo effect, are greater. So the greater the mood, the greater can be the halo effect that can happen to you. Lookism is another phenomenon which is closely related to the halo effect. Lookism is the discriminatory treatment of people who are considered physically unattractive in a society. Even though we all accept that fact that beauty lies in the mind, or beauty, outward beauty is not to be considered, we all accept those things. But Lookism is some kind of an innate tendency of human beings. It has been seen that even newborn babies with a few days of age tend to look at attractive faces for a longer time than comparatively non-attractive faces, and there seem to be some universal criteria for what is attractive and what is not attractive. Features like symmetry of the face, etc., are considered attractive across the globe, and there has been evidence that such people who are attractive are given preferential treatment in so many areas of our public lives. And it is also predicted that the selfie era that we live in will be a boost to Lookism. And another important fact about Lookism is that Lookism may not be as obvious as sexism or racism, and it can be much more unconscious or subconscious. And most of the times, when we are practicing Lookism, we may not even understand that we are, being swayed by the looks of people, and that is something that makes Lookism very difficult to overcome, to understand or overcome. In a very recent research published in October 2020, it was seen that even inside universities, Lookism works in faculty evaluation, where better looking faculty are tend to be graded more favorably by students. Now the question comes as to why Lookism or halo effect happens when they are so negative and so contrary to the principles of equal opportunities and human rights. It has been pointed out that the cognitive mechanisms that operate behind Lookism or halo effect are automatic, and the kind of automatic processing or the kind of automatic thinking that we apply when driving a vehicle or having some kind of reflex action. Lookism and halo effect are influenced by those kind of automatic processes which most of the times we are not even consciously aware of. Such automatic thinking may also exert lower demands on the cognitive resources, the resources of the brain, and that is one reason why they are so easily adopted by all our brains. Now the most important thing that to be considered about halo effect or Lookism is how to avoid, once we are aware that these things may happen, these things may come into play whenever we are taking decisions, how to avoid halo effect or even Lookism. One thing that has been suggested is that halo effect can be reduced or even eliminated when systematic and attentive processing of information is adopted by the brain. That is when we actually apply our mind without drawing easy conclusions or easy judgments. One thing to be made sure is that whenever you are trying to make judgments, whenever you are trying to make evaluations of people or brands or things, we have to make sure that we have enough mental energy to do that, to do the evaluation. If we don't have the enough energy, or if we are tired, or if we do not have enough brain resources, it is quite possible that the brain will adopt the easiest strategy of generalizing from whatever little we know, and leading us astray in our decision making process. Another thing is to avoid making important judgments when you are in a very good mood, as we have already seen that as your mood is better, or as you get into a good mood, the chances of you having this halo effect go up. So whenever you are making very important judgments or evaluations, better not do them when you are in a very elevated mood. Another thing that can be experimented with is increasing the load on your brain whenever you are making important decisions or important evaluations. So if you have to, evaluate a piece of writing, it can be done more cognitively straining by maybe adopting a difficult font to read, or pausing in between and resuming again and going back to whatever you have read. So the basic thing is to make your brain apply its resources more into whatever you are doing, in order to decrease the effect of the so-called halo effect, or Lookism in whatever you are doing. So that much for today about halo effect and Lookism. We'll be talking about more cognitive biases and the cognitive process in the coming episodes. Thank you.